Hallo, hier ist Flavio von Giga und wir sitzen in den Büros von Kabam, einem der, ich würde sagen, größeren Spieleentwickler auf dem Markt für soziale Multiplayer-Spiele, und wir sprechen mit Steve Swayze, ein Sprecher von Kabam, der uns ein bisschen was über die Firma erzählen wird. Hi Steve, thank you for joining us. Would you mind, just giving us a general image of what Kabam does and where they came from?
Well, thank you first for having us. Kabam is the leader in the Western world for free-to-play games for core gamers and mid-core gamers. That is, we make video games for play on Facebook, for on the web, and increasingly on mobile. Most of Kabam's business is on mobile now. And these games are both on iOS and Android. The games are free to play. You download the app for free, you play for free as long as you want. If you're really enjoying what you're doing, you can buy premium goods in the game. You can pay for premium goods, and that's the free-to-play freemium model. And as I said, Kabam leads this industry. We are the largest company that does this for core players and mid-core players in the Western world. Kabam's revenues this year in 2013 will be about $270 million. In 2012, the company grew 70% over 2011. We had $180 million in revenue in 2012, which was a 70% increase over the previous year. So the company is growing, both financially with new games and with new employees. The company is now opening a Berlin office, which was why we came to Berlin, because we're excited to announce a new office here so that we can increase the player support for our European players, which make up almost half of the company's revenue. This company has games in 13 languages. One obviously is English, and then 12 European languages. And those folks will all be supported out of our Luxembourg office and increasingly out of Berlin.
Okay, so what drew you to Berlin specifically? I mean, there's a lot of young tech companies here. You're not so young, considering the other companies here, but what drew you to Berlin?
Well, Berlin is a natural fit for Kabam. We both have very young, enthusiastic gamer employees, and Berlin has a great young, enthusiastic gamer audience. We're looking for multinational, international, multilingual people. Berlin has a great market for that. You're a testament to that. We're looking for people who are gamers. There's a great gaming community in Berlin. People who are technology savvy, and that also exists in Berlin. Kabam looked at several other cities in Europe, Hamburg, Helsinki, London, Dublin, Amsterdam. Before we chose Berlin, we like Berlin best, and we think it's a great match.
Yeah, obviously, so do we. We like Berlin best as well. So let's go into some of your apps, maybe. You've talked about how you started with social apps and now are increasingly targeting mobile platforms as well. What drove you towards the mobile space, and what experiences have you been able to draw from your experience in Facebook and Google apps?
Well, Kabam did start in 2009 on Facebook when mobile and social came together. Well, excuse me, when social and casual games came together. And we were the first core social games. So our games were not just the casual games in light that people played for 15 or 20 minutes. Kabam launched in 2009 with the Kingdoms of Camelot game, which has gone on to become a top 10, number 7 actually, strategy franchise of all time across all platforms. The game has made $200 million in less than 4 years. And that makes it high on the list, number 7 of all the strategy franchises. So we started this Facebook phenomenon in 2009, and we grew that. But then Kabam recognized, and there's a theme here, Kabam recognized that the market is shifting, so we moved on to our own platform, kabam.com, as well as Congregate and Steam and other web platforms. And then we moved quickly on top of that to the mobile platform, whereas now mobile is a majority of our business. And Kabam will be increasingly offering more and more mobile titles. And most companies stay in one genre or one platform for most of their life, and then they eventually aren't able to compete and evolve. Kabam started on Facebook, moved very quickly to web, and then moved very quickly on top of that to mobile. And not just iOS, but Android as well. So Kabam is launching games on multiple platforms, multiple genres, and that's the recipe for growth.
Okay, so maybe we can talk a little bit about the development process for iOS and Android. Our readers come from both parties, basically. So what are some of the challenges of the platforms individually? I mean, what is your focus on, maybe, and what's the weighting of the different platforms inside Kabam?
Kabam's focus is on making great games for people who love to play games. And we do that on the platforms that they want to play on. So when we started on mobile, it was on iOS because that was the majority at the time. Since then, Android has come along very strongly and very well, to the point where Android is more dominant in some of the markets around the world than iOS. So we're putting equal emphasis on Android and iOS. The Apple catalog or the Apple the App Store is the pioneer, and so it gets most of the credit. But interestingly, in 2007, when Steve Jobs first introduced the iPhone, he said nothing about games. It wasn't even thought of back then. Back then he talked about email and checking your stock quotes and getting directions and calling Starbucks and ordering 4,000 lattes. That was how Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone in 2007. Fast forward only 7 years later, and we're talking about games being the dominant use of mobile phones and smartphones. And so Kabam looked at this and sees this as a great opportunity. We launched on iOS first, but seeing that Android is coming along and Samsung now is giving the iPhone and Apple a good competition, we're equally committed to Android. So we'll launch on iOS, we'll launch on Android. Kabam games are available for both. The development is a little different. The app stores are a little different. We just have engineers that are adaptable to both, so we can bring a great game to whatever platform you want to be playing on.
Okay, so have you ever considered, I mean, we keep talking about the mobile platform as a gaming platform, Major, but have you ever considered any of the other mobile gaming platforms, such as maybe the Nintendo or the Sony PSP or something like that? Have you ever looked at them, or have you been going straight to Facebook, straight to mobile from the beginning?
Kabam would like to be ubiquitous. We want to be wherever the gamer is and whatever platform he or she wants to play on. We have to marshal our resources. We're still a young company and we're still a privately traded company, so we don't have as deep a pockets as some others. So we focus on the platforms that are the most prevalent right now. You mentioned a couple of other mobile platforms. The Android and the iOS stores are the dominant stores worldwide, so that's where we're marshaling all of our resources. But Kabam has been very adept at evolving very quickly. It's only 3.5 years that Kabam has been making games, and already we've become a strong player on the Facebook platform, which is where we launched. We became a very strong player very quickly on mobile platforms, including Kabam.com, and very quickly we've become a very strong player on the Android and iOS platforms. So we have the ability to navigate these very tricky waters for development. So we're not going to say no to anything. If it becomes a platform that we think will grow and will be available and interesting to consumers, Kabam will pursue it.
In that context, do you have any plans you can tell us about for the Ouya, for the new Android gaming console that's coming out?
Nothing I can comment about at this point, just that we are always looking for growth. We want to be the company, Kabam wants to be the company that is reaching its consumers in the ways that they want to be, devices they want to play on, the platforms they want to play. And Kabam has made a very good, strong effort growing the company to $270 million in revenue is forecast for 2013, based on a platform of games that are very exciting, that are very immersive for players. And again, Kabam leads this market because we are the strongest company in the free-to-play industry that focuses on core and mid-core players. And that's because of all the platforms and all the games. Kabam is launching a game this month in May worldwide that's going to be tied to the movie Fast and Furious 6. In fact, our game is called Fast and Furious 6 The Game. And it is console quality on a tablet or a smartphone. When you look at this game and when you get into this game, when you start playing it, the graphics are compelling. The action is immersive. This is truly a console quality game that is going to be on your iPhone, it's going to be on your iPad, it's going to be on your Android device. And this is where Kabam is headed, to making its games higher fidelity, higher console-like quality on the tablets and the smartphones.
Okay, so that's a definite maybe regarding the Ouya. Thank you very much. Maybe we talked about the Fast and the Furious. Which is your favorite game right now? If you do play any.
Yes, of course. I work for Kabam, so we're a games company. I have to say that my favorite Kabam game is the Fast and the Furious. It is just beautiful. I like cars, I like speed, and I like games. So here we are. This is all three of them. The team that built this is a former AAA developer team. In fact, they had a lot to do with a couple of games that you're probably familiar with, Skate and Need for Speed. So we have this console quality development team that's based in our Vancouver, Canada office, and they have developed this game, Fast and Furious 6, Of course, the movie franchise is pretty amazing. Lots of muscles and lots of pretty women and lots of fast cars, and who can't like that? So we've based this game on the movie Fast and Furious 6 in partnership with Universal, and it's truly amazing gameplay. It's like being on the road right there.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to that. Thank you, Steve, for now, und wir geben jetzt zurück ins Hauptstadtbüro. Vielen Dank, auf Wiedersehen.